Hello, I'm participating in the Corville Library's contest on a blind date with a cookbook, and I was pleased to get this cookbook, Fast, Fresh, and Green. It was marked vegetarian by Susie Middleton with photographs by Ben Fink, and it's truly a gorgeous cookbook. The illustrations are fantastic. Let me just flip through and show you a couple things. They just are beautiful. Recipes and pictures in full color. It's fun to look at in the middle of winter. The recipe that I chose is called vanilla and cardamom glazed acorn squash rings, and I find myself often thinking that acorn looks great, and then I make it and I don't love it, but I'm hoping this one looks really good, so I'm hoping it's going to be the right one for me. So I did get a squash from the store. It's a little bit gnarly, but winter squash can look that way. So the first thing you do is cut the squash in half end to end, and it's a little bit hard to cut, of course. I did discover that if you microwave a squash a couple of minutes first, then it's a bit easier. And then you trim off the ends, and then you cut it into rings, scrape out the middle, of course. I have a big pile to go out in my compost heap, which some little critters will enjoy out on a kind of a frosty winter day today. And so I've started my oven at 475, a hot oven, and put some parchment paper down to make it easier clean up. These are the pieces of 1/2 that I've cut so far, about 1/2 inch thick or so. And I did take a paring knife and trim off some of the fibery stuff from the inside, which doesn't hurt anything, but it looks a little better. And then you make a glaze, which is a couple tablespoons of butter melted, and then a teaspoon and a half of vanilla, and a couple teaspoons of maple syrup, and a little bit of ground cardamom, which should be interesting in there. And you use that to glaze, brush a glaze on half of it, and then I'm going to turn these over and brush it on the other half. It'll go in the oven then for 10 or 12 minutes, and then I'll flip them over, maybe glaze it a little more, and bake it another 10 or 12 minutes until a knife stuck in comes out soft, and we'll see how they turn out. Stay tuned. Okay, I'm back with my roasted squash, and I roasted this at 475 for 10 minutes or so, turned it over and brushed a little more glaze on it, and this was done another maybe 5 minutes after that. It didn't take long, and it looks delicious. I took a sample of it. Of course, you have to cut the skin off now because I did not peel my squash, but it's easy to do. The skin's very crisp now, and it has a really lovely flavor. I like a little bit of cardamom in there. When I make it again, I will. This is like a keeper recipe. I will probably make more glaze. I had to double the glaze, and you know, you need a lot of butter with squash, I think. And also maybe just go to Trader Joe's and buy some pieces of squash. It's a lot of work to cut it up and carve it, and I think that little squares would just make a lovely roasted squash. And it's a simple recipe, but I hope you give it a try.